What's going on, beautiful people? I'm the Grandmaster, and I also go by D-Ray. Today's a very special day. Today, as you read through the title and thumbnail, today is my announcement and my participation of the PCL. Woo! I've always been a big fan of this league since the very beginning, so to be a part of it now is just, I don't want to say I'm so blessed, but I really am, guys. Ever since I stepped into the draft league scene, I've just been treated with the utmost respect. Everyone in this format, in regards to the community, has just been phenomenal. To be at where I am at now, it really does mean a lot to me. Disclaimer, I wasn't originally invited to this league. I'm actually taking over for another coach. So when this coach dropped, the coaches that were in the league now recommended me to the commissioner, Austin, also known as Garchump the God. Great guy. So the fact that these guys recommended me to get in here really does mean a lot to me. I love every single one of you. So with that being said, today we're going to be going over the team. Not necessarily the draft analysis. We're going to be going over the team after I made some transactions and what we're left over with to work with moving forward. That makes sense. Yeah. So basically, we had to move some stuff around to make the team better. And today we're going to be going over that. And before we get into the team, let's go ahead and lay out the ground rules. What this league is about. This league is standard draft format in regards to having the, I believe, 1,100 points total, but you did have to fit a criteria. You have to have one tier 1, one tier 2, two tier 3s, a tier 4, tier 5, and 4 free picks. There are some rules. There are an S tier, which was there to balance out the rest of the league. If you get an S tier Pokemon that is worth 220 points, you are not allowed to have more than one tier 1 Pokemon. My team did in fact have an S tier in Toxapex. Unfortunately, even though this mon is fat and is really, really good, I did have to leave Toxapex behind in order for me to restructure the overall foundation of this team. So, this league is also allowing Dynamaxing, which is crazy, but there are some limitations. Number 1, you must designate a Dynamax captain. Number 2, you can only do a Dynamax captain from tier 3 or below. I believe I'm not 100% sure about this. I have to read it again. I believe you do have to Dynamax right away turn 1, or you forfeit the right to Dynamax for the rest of the game. So that plays a huge role on who's the Dynamax captain. And with all that being said, if you guys are super excited, as excited as I am, for the San Diego Snugglers to be in the PCL, smash the thumbs up button. If you guys are new here, do me a massive favor, subscribe, join the movement, hit the little bell button so you guys are notified every single time I post a new video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into it. So, like I said before, I had dropped Toxapex, but I did indeed keep the tier 1 Pokemon that was on the team. Who was that tier 1 Pokemon, you may ask? It was Revival Jam, aka Reuniclus. Reuniclus is going to stick around on the team. Why? Because this thing is an amazing psychic type. It does get really good useful abilities in Magic Guard and Regenerator, and it also gets Overcoat in case I want to not take any residual damage from any hail or sandstorm, or be immune to any powder moves like Spore or Sleep Powder, Stun Spore, Poison Powder, things like that. But Regenerator and Magic Coat is in the Magic Guard what is typically I'm going to be running on Reuniclus. This thing gets obviously Psychic, Psyshock, it gets coverage in Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, it gets Iron Defense, it gets Calm Mind so you can be really fat. This thing is a great pivot. This thing can also take a lot of really heavy hits and dish them back, essentially. This thing's name, like I said, is Revival Jam. This is a great tier 1 Pokemon in my opinion, so I decided to keep it around on the team. This is going to be in no particular order. So essentially, the next pick we decided to keep around. This is going to be the tier 2, coincidentally. The next mon on the team we have is Appleton, aka Crumble. Appleton is the tier 2 Pokemon. It is a grass dragon type, really, really good typing. Does have a lot of weaknesses, but also has a lot of really crucial resistances, including all of the elemental typings like electric, water, grass, and this gets a good ability in thick fat, so it is a fire resist. Thick fat reduces ice type and fire type damage by 50%. It also gets access to a signature ability in Ripen. What Ripen does is basically it doubles the effect of berries. For example, citrus berry, when it activates, you get 50% back instead of 25%. If you have a stat boosting berry, it boosts the stats by 2 instead of 1, so that's really good. So this thing gets really good coverage options. It is a special attacker, but it does get really good physical attacks like Earthquake, like Body Press. It gets Heavy Slam for the fairies. It gets a signature move in Apple Acid. Apple Acid is a base 80 special attack grass type move that decreases your opponent's special defense by 1 every single time you use it, which is really great in order to snowball damage output if you decide to make this Pokemon really bulky. It gets reliable recovery in Recover. It gets Leech Seed, so it can sit and be fat. So it's a great Pokemon for that aspect. So I decided to keep it around. Appleton is going to be really great for the team. The next mon on the squad, also I decided to keep around. So the next mon is Galvantula, aka Spider. Galvantula is here to be one of our fastest Pokemon, actually. Spoilers. And for speed control, it gets access to Sticky Web, gets Compound Eyes, which is great for its Thunder Stab. So it gets Thunder, Electric type Stab, increases the accuracy of that move, so I can hit it much better. Still has an opportunity to miss, but much better than before. Gets good coverage for ground types and Energy Ball. Gets Bug Buzz, obviously, and good pivot and Volt Switch. So this thing is here for speed control, essentially. So that's going to be the number 1 role for Galvantula for the overall team. Very happy to have this Pokemon. He did a great job drafting it. The next mon on the team also stuck around. It is going to be Mudsdale. And Mudsdale is actually going to be our Dynamax captain. So Mudsdale is going to be here to be super duper fat. This thing's going to be so bulky. It gets a signature ability in Stamina. Stamina, what it does, every time you receive an attack, whether it's physical or special, it increases your defense by 1 stage. When you Dynamax, it doubles your HP. This thing is gonna sit, be fat. It's a good stealth rocker. It's good to take hits and dish them right back. It gets Earthquake, obviously, because it's a pure ground type. It gets Rock Slide, gets Superpower, gets Body Press, Stealth Rock, like I said. It gets Heavy Slam for fairies. It's a really good Pokemon to just absorb hits and then dish them right back. That's Mudsdale. The next mon of the squad was the previous Dynamax captain before Mudsdale. It's going to be our first form of hazard control. It's going to be Let It Rip, aka Hitmontop. Hitmontop is here to be, like I said, the hazard control. For those who don't know, Rapid Spin actually got buffed to 50 base power, and it increases your speed by 1 stage. That's going to be really great. It gets Stab Close Combat. It also gets Technician, which is going to boost its priority moves like Mach Punch, like Bullet Punch. It gets Intimidate, which is going to be phenomenal to switch in on physical attackers to be able to neuter them a little bit better. Intimidate still is pretty good, especially in singles. So hazard control, which is what Hitmontop is here for. So Let It Rip is going to be great. The next mon of the squad also stuck around. The next mon of the team is going to be our secondary form of hazard control, and in my opinion is a better version than its evolution. That mon is none other than Happy Feet, aka Galarian Mr. Mime. Galarian Mr. Mime is, like I said, here for another Rapid Spinner, so I can obviously keep my own hazards instead of defogging them away. But the main attraction that I had to Galarian Mr. Mime is that, number 1, base 100 speed. In this generation, that is phenomenal. Number 2, Stab Freeze Dry. Guys, this generation, Dracovish is an issue. This generation, Seismitoad, Gastrodon, Quagsire, Whiscash, all of them are big issues. All of those Pokemon get 4 times super effective damage from Freeze Dry. That is phenomenal. Freeze Dry is an ice type move that is super effective against water types. So the fact that those mons have a secondary typing that allows it to be 4 times super effective is going to be great. This mon is the pre-evolution to the new Mr. Rhyme, so I can put an Eviolite on it. This mon got access to Nasty Plot. I don't remember if it had it before it was a Galarian form, but it gets Nasty Plot now. So with Eviolite, I can be pretty fat, absorb a hit, set up with Nasty Plot, and hopefully sweep from there. I can use Rapid Spin to boost the speed even more in case there's a Pokemon that I don't outspeed originally. So this mon could be pretty good. It gets a signature ability in Screen Cleaner. So Mr. Mime, essentially what Screen Cleaner does, if my opponent has set up Aurora Veil, Reflect, or Light Screen, or all the above, when you switch in Galarian Mr. Mime, they automatically vanish. That is huge. Huge, huge, huge. If my opponent's strategy is to set up screens and set up with their Pokemon, bring in Mr. Mime, screens are gone. Instantly. Kind of like an automatic defog, just to get rid of all of that. So Galarian Mr. Mime, very valuable, much better than Mr. Rhyme in my opinion. The next mon on the squad is actually going to be our first transaction. The next mon on the squad, originally we had Togetic on the team, and when we dropped Toxapex, we got extra points, so we were able to drop Togetic and pick up Togekiss. Aria is here. Aria, aka Togekiss, is here to be much better than Togetic. Everybody knows what this thing does. It gets access to Serene Grace plus Air Slash, making the opportunity to flinch at 60% instead of 30%, so I can flinch things down. It sounds really cheeky, but it can be super duper clutch. It gets great coverage options in Aura Sphere and Flamethrower. If I put a Scarf on it, it gets access to Trick. It gets access to Wish, so it can be a pretty good Wish passer for the rest of the team, namely mostly Mudsdale. That's going to be pretty good for its longevity. So this mon is going to be really, really great. Togekiss is going to be probably one of the top Pokemon that we're going to be bringing this season. So I'm very happy for it to be on the team. The next mon on the squad is going to be another replacement from a transaction that we did previously. The dark type of this team. The dark type of this team was Zweilous. Guys, that mon is trash. Zweilous is the pre-evolved form of Hydreigon. It's a dark dragon type and it gets Hustle. I really don't like Hustle overall as an ability because it does decrease your accuracy, although it does increase your power. Not worth it to miss a move. So I got rid of Zweilous, and with the overall points from Toxapex, we were able to pick up Kill Switch, aka Bisharp. Bisharp is going to be huge to do exactly what the nickname says, to come in, kill stuff. This thing is a dark steel type that can come in, hit sucker punches, and things will die. It's a great pair with Sticky Web. Sticky Web basically forcing your opponent to want to defog, and with this mon having Defiant, increasing my attack by 2 stages every time one of my stats drops down, especially via defog, can make this very terrifying. With base 70 speed, this thing is going to be super great this generation because, like I said before, all the speed stats, all the speed tiers this generation are garbage. So this thing has a better opportunity to speed a lot of things in this gen. So I'm very excited to have Bisharp on the team, and previously I didn't have a steel type, so now I have one, a very offensive one. The next mon on the squad is another transaction that we made because if you look down the line of my Pokemon on this team, I'm very weak to Fairy. I'm very weak to Fairy Stab. Appleton, weak to Fairy. Hitmontop, weak to Fairy. Bisharp does not resist it, although it is a steel type because it has the dark typing. So Fairy types are a problem. Also, fire types are an issue. Appleton is a fire resist with thick fat, but if I want to run a different ability, I don't want to have Appleton be the main form of our fire resist because Galarian Mr. Mime and Bisharp are both weak to fire type moves. So to kind of sponge all that up, we decided to bring in Cheeto, aka Flareon. So Flareon is a tier 5 pick. Gets Flash Fire, so it is immune to overall fire type attacks. And guys, my favorite thing in the world of Pokemon is to have a physical attacker that is a fire type. So in order for you to neuter fire types, No, in order for you to neuter a physical attacker, you do what? You burn it. You can't burn a fire type. So this thing gets an astronomical 130 base attack, paired up with Flare Blitz, with superpower, with priority and quick attack. It also gets Fire Fang if you don't want to run Flare Blitz. This thing can be a crazy good wall breaker at base 65 speed, paired up with Sticky Web. Come on now, this thing's going to be super good. It also gets Guts, so if I'm paralyzed or if I'm poisoned or if I'm asleep, then I increase my attack by 50%. No, by 1.5 times. So that can be phenomenal. The last mon on the squad that we have is going to be Crawdon. Crawdon is here to serve as our water type and our secondary dark type. So I can choose my matchups whether or not I want to bring Bisharp or if I want to bring Crawdon. This guy, I haven't really thought of a nickname yet. I kind of want to go for Starboy. I used to do Mr. Krabs, but we'll see if I change it up. Crawdon's ability and adaptability increases its stab by 2 times versus the 1.5 times. So stab liquidations, stab crab hammers is going to be phenomenal. Guys, why is Crawdon so good this generation? Let me tell you. Crawdon is one of the few dark types that have retained the very important move, one of the best moves, if not the best move in the game, in knockoff. A lot of dark types lost knockoff, including Bisharp. So having Crawdon keep knockoff is going to be massive. With adaptability, it also gets Aqua Jet, Stab, Water type priority, super awesome. Paired up with Sticky Web, bro, Crawdon is going to be huge as a wall breaker. I can clean things up with Aqua Jet. This thing is going to be a threat. It also got close combat, so I can run close combat instead of superpower. Massive. I can get cheeky and run Dragon Dance with this thing. There's just so many options I can run with Crawdon. This mon was just too good to pass up. So, guys, these are the San Diego Snugglers for this season of the PCL. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. I made a bunch of transactions. The new Pokemon that are on this team that weren't on there before: Togekiss, Bisharp, Flareon, Crawdon. Everything else was on the team before. I think this is pretty good. Side note, I still have 80 free points. So if something comes up and I can make a change, I for sure will. So guys, let me know what you guys think. Like I said before, as you can see on your screen, you have the plug to my Twitter. Please follow me at @GrandmasterDray. For sure, I would love to welcome you guys in. I'll for sure follow you guys back. If this is your first time to this channel, please do me a massive favor. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. With all that being said, guys, it's very late. Kind of slurring my words a little bit. I'm very tired. It's been a really long day. So thanks so much for dealing with me and my slurring, because it's late. I'm very tired. With all that being said, guys, I'm going to get the heck up out of here. Have a great rest of your day. And above all else, be nice. Peace.